The year was 2027. Earth was enjoying a period of relative peace, having recently settled numerous international conflicts and begun to address critical environmental challenges. However, unbeknownst to the planet's inhabitants, a new and far more ominous threat loomed in the darkness of space. The Confederacy of Independent Systems, CIS, led by the cunning Count Dooku and driven by the relentless tactical mind of General Grievous, had set their sights on Earth. The CIS saw Earth's technological and resource potential as a valuable asset for their ongoing struggle against the Galactic Republic. Unlike previous interstellar visitors, the CIS had no intention of peaceful negotiation. They sought control, domination, and exploitation. The first signs of the CIS's approach went unnoticed by Earth's astronomers and military. Small, stealthy probe droids infiltrated the planet's atmosphere, gathering data on military installations, communication networks, and industrial centers. These droids, equipped with cloaking technology, meticulously mapped out the planet's defenses and identified key targets for the impending invasion. As the probes relayed their findings back to the CIS fleet hidden on the far side of the moon, Earth continued with its daily routine, blissfully unaware of the gathering storm. On a cold December morning, the invasion began. Without warning, massive CIS warships descended from orbit, their presence announced by the thunderous roar of their engines and the blinding light of their energy weapons. Major cities across the globe, New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, and others, were simultaneously attacked. The CIS's strategy was precise and devastating. Battle droids poured from the ships, their ranks seemingly endless. These mechanical soldiers, led by advanced tactical droids, quickly overwhelmed local defenses. The initial wave targeted military bases, power plants, and communication hubs, crippling Earth's ability to mount a coordinated defense. Panic spread as civilians fled from the onslaught. Governments struggled to respond, their efforts hampered by the speed and ferocity of the attack. In the chaos, the CIS established strongholds in major cities, their control expanding rapidly. Despite the initial shock, humanity began to rally. National governments, recognizing the existential threat, set aside their differences and formed a united front. Emergency meetings of world leaders led to the creation of a Global Defense Council, GDC, tasked with coordinating the military response and managing the civilian crisis. Earth's military forces, though outmatched in technology, had the advantage of home turf and ingenuity. Resistance groups formed in occupied cities, using guerrilla tactics to harass and disrupt the droid forces. The GDC worked to consolidate remaining military assets, focusing on strategic locations and planning counterattacks. Scientists and engineers were recruited to study captured droid technology, seeking weaknesses and ways to level the playing field. The fight for Earth's survival had begun in earnest. The CIS, confident in their technological superiority, underestimated humanity's resilience. As the weeks passed, the initial shock of the invasion gave way to a determined resistance. Underground bunkers and fortified compounds became the centers of human activity, where civilians and soldiers alike contributed to the war effort. Cities turned into battlegrounds. In New York, the towering skyscrapers provided vantage points for snipers and artillery positions. In London, the labyrinthine underground served as a network for moving troops and supplies unseen. In Beijing, the ancient walls of the Forbidden City became a fortress against the droid invaders. Human ingenuity shone in unexpected ways. Improvised explosive devices, IEDs, were crafted from everyday materials, wreaking havoc on droid patrols. Hackers infiltrated CIS communication networks, sowing confusion and disrupting operations. The GDC launched coordinated strikes against key CIS installations, gradually reclaiming lost territory. As the conflict dragged on, Earth scientists made significant breakthroughs in understanding and countering CIS technology. Reverse-engineered droid components led to the development of new weapons and defense systems. EMP devices, capable of disabling droids en masse, became a critical tool in the Resistance's arsenal. Humanity's advancements extended beyond weaponry. Medical teams, working tirelessly under perilous conditions, developed treatments for injuries and illnesses caused by the invasion. Engineers designed portable shield generators, providing temporary cover for troops and civilians during engagements. In space, Earth's nascent space agencies collaborated to launch makeshift satellites and defensive platforms. Though rudimentary compared to CIS technology, these efforts disrupted the enemy's orbital dominance and provided critical intelligence for ground operations. The invasion fostered an unprecedented sense of global unity. Former adversaries became allies, sharing resources and information. Cultural and linguistic barriers were set aside as humanity focused on a common goal: survival and liberation. Civilians played a crucial role in the resistance. Farmers provided food for soldiers, craftsmen produced essential goods, and teachers educated children in underground schools. Artists and musicians inspired hope and resilience, reminding everyone of what they were fighting to protect. In the face of the CIS's relentless assault, humanity discovered strength in solidarity. The invasion, intended to break Earth's spirit, instead forged a resolve stronger than ever before. After months of brutal conflict, the tide began to turn. The GDC, having learned from early setbacks, executed a series of coordinated offensives aimed at the CIS's command and control structures. Key victories in Europe, Asia, and North America forced the CIS to reconsider their strategy. General Grievous, frustrated by the unexpected resistance, ordered a shift in tactics. The CIS began deploying more advanced and specialized droid units, including droidekas and commando droids, to hunt down resistance leaders and destroy their infrastructure. This escalation led to intense urban warfare, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Despite the increased pressure, humanity's resolve remained unbroken. The resistance adapted, using their intimate knowledge of local terrain to outmaneuver and outsmart the CIS forces. Each victory, no matter how small, fueled the fire of defiance. Recognizing the need for additional support, the GDC reached out to potential allies beyond Earth's borders. Using newly developed long-range communication technology, they sent distress signals into deep space, hoping to attract the attention of sympathetic civilizations or factions. Their calls were answered by a group of independent traders and mercenaries who had also suffered under CIS oppression. This new alliance provided much-needed supplies, advanced weaponry, and experienced fighters. The influx of resources and expertise bolstered the Resistance's capabilities, allowing them to plan more ambitious operations. With renewed strength, the GDC launched Operation Liberation, a series of coordinated strikes aimed at key CIS strongholds. The operation was designed to reclaim major cities, disrupt CIS supply lines, and capture high-ranking officers to gather intelligence. The battles were fierce and costly. In New York, resistance fighters used the city's dense urban environment to their advantage, engaging in close-quarters combat with droid forces. In Beijing, coordinated attacks from multiple fronts overwhelmed the CIS defenses, leading to a significant victory for the resistance. Operation Liberation culminated in the Battle of London, where a massive assault on the CIS's regional headquarters dealt a critical blow to their command structure. The victory was a turning point, shifting the momentum firmly in favor of the resistance. The GDC recognized the importance of psychological warfare in undermining the CIS's control. Propaganda campaigns were launched, broadcasting messages of hope and resilience to occupied territories. Stories of resistance victories and acts of heroism inspired civilians to resist the invaders in whatever ways they could. These efforts were not without risk. The CIS responded with brutal crackdowns, seeking to silence dissent and maintain control. However, the spirit of defiance was infectious. Acts of sabotage and non-cooperation became widespread, further complicating the CIS's efforts to maintain order. In Africa, the CIS had established a strong presence due to the continent's rich resources. The resistance, bolstered by local militias and the newly formed African Union Defense Force, launched a major offensive to reclaim the region. The Battle of Africa was one of the most intense and prolonged conflicts of the invasion. Dense jungles and vast deserts provided unique challenges, requiring innovative tactics and adaptation. The resistance used hit-and-run tactics, leveraging their knowledge of the terrain to ambush droid patrols and disrupt supply lines. Key victories in cities like Cairo and Johannesburg demonstrated the effectiveness of these tactics. The liberation of Africa was a significant milestone, depriving the CIS of crucial resources and further weakening their hold on the planet. With momentum on their side, the resistance intensified their efforts. Coordinated offensives across multiple continents stretched the CIS's resources thin. The GDC, leveraging intelligence gathered from captured droids and officers, identified vulnerabilities in the CIS's command structure. A daring raid on a CIS command ship, led by elite resistance fighters, resulted in the capture of critical data and the elimination of several high-ranking CIS officers. This operation crippled the CIS's ability to coordinate their forces, leading to confusion and disarray within their ranks. The resistance, now confident in their ability to defeat the invaders, planned a final push to drive the CIS off Earth. Massive assaults were launched on remaining CIS strongholds, targeting both military installations and key infrastructure. The battles were fierce and relentless. In North America, resistance fighters stormed the CIS's main headquarters, engaging in brutal urban combat. In Europe, coordinated strikes from multiple countries overwhelmed the droid defenses. In Asia, the resistance reclaimed strategic locations, cutting off the CIS's remaining supply lines. Despite facing overwhelming odds, the resistance's determination and unity proved decisive. One by one, CIS strongholds fell, and the invaders were forced to retreat. The final battle, fought in the ruins of a once great city, marked the end of the CIS's occupation of Earth. With the CIS forces in full retreat, Earth began the process of rebuilding. The GDC transitioned from a wartime command structure to a global governing body, overseeing reconstruction efforts and ensuring that the hard-won peace was maintained. The scars of the invasion were deep, but the experience had forged a new sense of unity and purpose among Earth's inhabitants. Former enemies now worked side by side to rebuild their world, driven by the shared goal of preventing such a catastrophe from ever occurring again. Technological advancements made during the war were repurposed for peaceful applications, leading to rapid progress in fields such as medicine, energy, and transportation. The experience of resisting a common enemy had fostered a spirit of innovation and collaboration that propelled humanity into a new era of prosperity. The cost of victory had been high. Millions had lost their lives, and countless others had been displaced or traumatized by the conflict. Memorials were erected to honor the fallen, and efforts were made to support survivors and rebuild communities. The war had also revealed the importance of vigilance and preparedness. The GDC established a global defense network, ensuring that Earth would never again be caught off guard by an extraterrestrial threat. This network included early warning systems, advanced defense technologies, and a standing military force trained to respond to future invasions. As the years passed, the memory of the CIS invasion became a defining chapter in human history. It was a story of resilience, unity, and the unbreakable spirit of a planet that had faced the darkest of times and emerged stronger for it. The task of rebuilding civilization was immense. Cities lay in ruins, economies were shattered, and the psychological toll of the invasion lingered. The GDC, now a symbol of global unity, coordinated international efforts to restore infrastructure, provide humanitarian aid, and revive economies. Reconstruction projects focused on sustainable development, leveraging the technological advancements made during the war. Green energy solutions, advanced medical technologies, and efficient transportation systems were prioritized, leading to a renaissance of innovation and progress. The invasion had disrupted cultural and social life, but it also sparked a revival of human creativity and expression. Artists, writers, and musicians drew inspiration from the resilience and unity shown during the conflict, creating works that celebrated the indomitable human spirit. Cultural exchanges between different regions of the world flourished, fostering a sense of global identity. Traditions and customs were preserved and shared, leading to a rich tapestry of cultural diversity that strengthened the bonds between nations. The war had accelerated scientific research and development, leading to breakthroughs that would have otherwise taken decades to achieve. Medical advancements, driven by the need to treat war injuries and diseases, resulted in new treatments and cures for previously untreatable conditions. Space exploration, once a distant dream, became a priority. The GDC established the Global Space Agency, GSA, tasked with exploring the cosmos and ensuring Earth's security from extraterrestrial threats. Collaborative missions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond laid the groundwork for humanity's expansion into space. Recognizing the importance of education, the GDC invested heavily in global education initiatives. Schools and universities were rebuilt and modernized, incorporating advanced technologies and promoting interdisciplinary studies. Education became a cornerstone of global development, empowering individuals with the knowledge and skills needed to contribute to a rapidly changing world. Efforts were made to ensure that education was accessible to all, regardless of socioeconomic status or geographic location. The invasion had fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape. Former rivalries had been set aside in favor of cooperation and mutual respect. The GDC evolved into a permanent global governing body, ensuring that the lessons learned from the invasion were not forgotten. International law and governance were strengthened, with a focus on human rights, environmental sustainability, and conflict resolution. The GDC provided a platform for addressing global challenges and fostering collaboration, ensuring that the unity forged during the war endured. The threat of extraterrestrial invasion remained a concern. The GDC established a comprehensive defense network, including early warning systems, orbital defenses, and a standing military force trained to respond to future threats. Research into advanced technologies continued, with a focus on defense and security. The lessons learned from the CIS invasion informed these efforts, ensuring that Earth was better prepared for any future conflicts. With peace and stability restored, humanity turned its gaze to the stars. The Global Space Agency spearheaded efforts to explore and colonize new worlds, driven by a sense of adventure and the desire to ensure humanity's long-term survival. Collaborative missions to the Moon and Mars laid the foundation for permanent settlements. Advanced propulsion technologies, developed during the war, enabled faster and more efficient space travel. The dream of interstellar exploration, once the realm of science fiction, became a reality. The legacy of the CIS invasion was one of hope and resilience. Humanity had faced an unprecedented threat and emerged stronger for it. The experience had fostered a sense of global unity and purpose, driving progress and innovation. As the years passed, the memory of the invasion became a symbol of humanity's capacity to overcome adversity. It served as a reminder of the importance of vigilance, cooperation, and the unbreakable spirit of a planet that had faced the darkest of times and emerged into a new dawn.